Hey, all you beautiful people. Mike O'Carroll here, Mr. Utah Real Estate. Today I've got a good friend of mine, Mr. Derek, which I still have a hard time pronouncing your last name.
It's cure-anti.
Curanti. I will get that.
Like your aunt is sick. Cure-anti.
How long have I known you and I still can't pronounce your last name? I get the same problem with my last name too, Roquero. So.
Well, I say Micah Rockiero.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't say that.
That's actually pretty common for people to say Rockiero.
I don't say that at all because I know how to read. So anyway, what were we just talking about where we weren't recording? We're talking about Hawaii.
So I was actually asking you. So we both are Utah residents. We've been here for a while.
Yes.
Derek was born here. So give me how long you been in Utah?
I was born in Utah before there was an inversion.
We'll talk about the inversion here in a minute.
I think. Now, I was born and raised in Utah up in the Clearfield area. Went to Clearfield High School. My mother still lives up there. I moved out to Virginia for 20 years when I was 19 because I wanted to see what the world was like and what else was out there. Lived out there for 20 years. Got a son. Moved back. Been out here for about 8 or 9 years with my beautiful wife and my two beautiful little girls, and my son actually moved out here as well.
Cool. And then I was born actually in Hawaii. Moved out here when I was 8 years old. Spent all of my school years out here, all the way up through college. And about 20 years ago, went back to Hawaii. That's where I met my wife. Spent about 10 years out there, and then we came back to Utah 10 years ago and been here for another 10 years now. So I know it's crazy. I moved from Hawaii back to Utah.
Do you know how to surf?
I do not know how to surf.
I don't either.
You know, before I moved to Hawaii, I went and took scuba diving lessons because I wanted to get certified. So when I got to Hawaii, I could go scuba diving and have all that fun out there.
Did you go?
No, never went. No. Well, the thing is that the cost of living out there is so expensive that you got to work a lot.
You have to work 80 hours a week.
Yeah, and I just never found time to go out there and go scuba diving. So,
well, you know, when you have a time off and you're working like that, the last thing you want to do is go scuba diving or anything.
Well,
Just want to sit on my butt.
I wanted to go talk to the fish.
You know, with all these stories about all these shark attacks and all that jazz lately, I am not going in the ocean anytime soon.
Well, luckily we don't have sharks here in Utah.
Over at, what's that called? Sea Base over in Grantsville. They have a nurse shark.
And actually, when I went and got certified in scuba diving, that's where we had to do our last dive, was over that sea base.
So for anyone listening to this, there's a really cool place out in the middle of nowhere, out in Grantsville, Utah. It's called Sea Base. It's a natural hot spring. Somebody owns that property, and they put like a coral reef in there, and there's nurse shark. What else is in there?
Well, it's hard. I mean, it's not the clearest water. So, my first time scuba diving in real water, not the swimming pool, where I could see everything. I went into this thing, and it was really hard to kind of see. I got a little bit nervous, underwater with my gear, trying to breathe underwater, not being able to see too much. So I did see the nurse shark, though.
It's a big old huge shark with that thing.
The nurse sharks, they're not predatory. They eat like the plankton or whatever it is that's in there. They don't eat meat, so I didn't have to worry about getting bit.
I thought they were called nurse shark because they like to nurse on things. Maybe it was gonna nurse on you.
They don't eat meat, so I didn't have to worry about getting bit. And I did see the shark down there. That was pretty cool.
Great.
Yeah, got certified. Cool. Never went scuba diving ever again after that. So.
Oh, yeah, and speaking of that place, if you guys ever go there and you want to go scuba diving in a hot spring in the middle of nowhere, afterward, you can go across the street and go shooting. There's a really cool, it's not an official range or anything, but out here in Utah, we just go out in the middle of nowhere and start shooting. So there's a place right across the street from there. When we went up there and went up there with Micah, looked like somebody brought a pool table up there and blew the crap out of it.
Yeah, I mean, you can go out there into the mountains and set up your targets and go shooting out there, which is nice. Doesn't cost anything. Unfortunately, people don't clean up their mess, so it kind of gets a little bit messy. There was talk about shutting it all down because nobody cleans up their messes. So if you go out there and you do your shooting, clean up your mess after. I know it's kind of hard because you get everything splattered everywhere, but I know there's a few spots that did get shut down because they just left all their stuff out there, and it's kind of getting littered up and not the best thing for the environment. But
TVs and pool tables and what else? A dresser, I think I saw one time.
I think we took some stuffed animals out there one time, blew those up.
Yeah. Blow up anything.
Was fun. But anyway, so today we're going to talk about a few things. The 5 five pros of living in Utah. But before we get going on that, if you wouldn't mind, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click the link down below. Give me a thumbs up. Comment on this video. Let us know what you think. If you want us to talk about some other things or some things you disagree with or other things that you think are great about Utah, let us know. Put it in the comments. Appreciate it very much. So, 5 pros of living in Utah. I know I drew some of my number one pro for living in Utah is the outdoors. I love the outdoors out here. I mean, there's so many things to do. Winter, summer, spring, fall. There's always something in the outdoors to do. And I know you're a snowboarder, right? Or a skier.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can?
I can.
You try?
I learned how to ski when I was 7. Then I moved out to Virginia, like I said, and the skiing out there is horrible. So I only went skiing there one time in 20 years, and since I've been back, I've been skiing 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
But I can still do it. I'm a pretty good snowboarder. I don't hit the rails or anything like that. My son does, and he always ends up injured. I don't want to have any spinal injuries.
Well, he's like 6'5" too. I mean, gosh.
Can you see that giant?
It's not hard to hit anything when you're that big.
Yeah, he's a giant trying to do rail slides and all that on his snowboard, falling on his ribs and his spine.
Well, he's still young. He can take the bruises and bumps. I can't anymore.
And he's like, "Hey, Dad, why don't you do it?" And I'm like, "Son, no."
Right.
I'm old.
Yeah. Our bodies aren't built the same way anymore.
And it's crazy because they're really not. Like, yeah.
But the slopes here are awesome. I mean, we've got how many ski resorts? I mean, there's about a dozen ski resorts within 45-minute drive from Salt Lake City.
We'll just say from the airport, within 45 minutes, you have Snowbird, Alta, Solitude, Brighton, Park City,
Deer Valley. Wolf Mountain. Up in Ogden, you got...
You want to go an hour and a half away, up in Ogden Canyon, you have Snow Basin, Nordic Valley, Powder Mountain, and I think that's about it.
And about a 3-hour drive down into Beaver, Utah. You got Eagle Mountain, I believe it is, down in Beaver. Another like half hour, 45 minutes past that. You've
Brian
Head down in Cedar City area. So tons of ski resorts down here. I mean, you've got people come out here. I mean, you can get the season passes that are good for a multitude of those ski resorts.
The Epic Pass is what it's called. And you can, that Epic Pass is actually really cool if you do go skiing or snowboarding a lot, because one company, I believe it's Vail Corporation, somebody, they own Vail Ski Resort, but they own Park City and all these other ski resorts too. So if you get that Epic Pass, it's not just for all these ski resorts in Utah that they own. It's for Breckenridge, it's for Aspen, it's for Vail, it's for all over the country. You can go up to Vermont and do all that. So, and I think it's about $1,000, $1,500 for the pass. It's kind of a lot at first, but if you think about all the places you can go and how many times you go, it's almost $200 for an all-day pass.
So those Vail ski resorts, those are in Colorado, right?
Yes.
So that's about, what, 10 hours from Salt Lake City if you drove out there?
From here to Denver, 8 hours.
8 hours.
So maybe another
throw another hour on there for the ski resorts. Yeah. So I mean, we got the other side of the Rockies, which is Denver, Colorado. We're on the west side of the Rockies. They're on the east side of the Rockies.
Our snow is better, and that's why our license plates say the greatest snow on earth.
We got the greatest snow on earth, which is another. If you love snow, you'll love Utah. Yes. Well, we kind of been dry last few years. We've been dry, but last winter we had a great winter. It
wouldn't stop snowing last winter. I put away my snowblower and then had to bring it out again, and I was cussing and kicking it and stuff.
Well, it did fill up those reservoirs, which is great. All the reservoirs filled up, not all the way to where they're supposed to be, but they did fill back up some.
We could wash our cars too this summer.
We could water our lawns,
and we could water our grass because they want everything to die.
And so I grew up. I did learn skiing when I was younger. Went to Hawaii for a while. There's no skiing in Hawaii, unfortunately.
There's not?
No.
They don't have a ski resort there?
No.
Diamond Head or?
No.
No?
Diamond Head, no.
They don't have snow on the mountains there?
On the Big Island they do, but there's no ski resorts. So the Big Island, if you guys didn't know this, the Big Island has the largest mountain in the world. From the bottom of the sea base to the top of the mountain is the largest mountain in the world. And they have an observatory up there, and it's so big. I mean, the mountain's so tall, it does snow up there.
Interesting.
On the Big Island, but there's no ski resorts, and it is quite. I mean, it's
straight up.
Yeah, if you got one of those little cars that don't go very good, you'll never make it to the top. We rented a car one time and tried to make it up, made about halfway, and I was like, I'm gonna kill this car. I better turn around.
It was a Mini.
That wasn't good.
Mini Cooper.
So the outdoors, that's one of the great things about living here. The skiing, not only skiing, but summertime, camping, fishing, hiking.
Yes.
It's
Fishing. The fishing is so good. And a lot of people don't know this too if you're new to the state. Obviously, people own a lot of property up in the mountains where you see the fences and things like that. Well, years ago, they came to an agreement with the BLM, Bureau of Land Management, to put like a little step ladder type fence, a step ladder over the fence. Have you seen those?
yeah.
It's a step ladder over the fence that they came into an agreement because the river obviously is not their river. It's on their property, but it's not their river. So a lot of people were sneaking onto these private properties and going fishing and destroying things and, the yada, yada, yada. So BLM went to the farmers and they came to an agreement, put up these steps so people can step over your fence without breaking it. They come onto your property, fish, and then leave.
BLM, not the Black Lives Matter. It's the Bureau of Land Management.
Yeah, not Black Lives Matter.
Just to clarify,
if they were in charge, it would be a mess.
We don't want to go there.
I digress.
So anyway, yeah. So great fishing. I mean, we got some of the best reservoirs. We got Jordanelle Reservoir, Strawberry, Flaming Gorge, which is on the Utah-Wyoming border. We got Lake Powell down on the southern borders of Utah.
Strawberry, Soldier Creek,
Bear Lake, which is one of our favorite lakes. We went up there a couple times this year just to hang out at the lake. Beautiful lake.
So beautiful.
Yeah. So great lakes over here. And those are just some.
Bear Lake is the next Lake Tahoe, just so you know.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So if you've ever been to Lake Tahoe, think of Lake Tahoe, but a little bit smaller, not as crowded.
Great for the kids because you can walk out like a half a mile and the water's only up to your waist.
Yeah. So. And it's nice and clear and it's great temperature. You got water skiing, jet skis, go fishing.
This is just a recommendation, though. If you do go up there for a day trip and have a barbecue and all that, leave the karaoke machine at home.
Please leave the karaoke machine home. We had a little, well.
Anyone who heard that was there knows what we're talking about. Don't sing karaoke on the beach.
When you go to the lake, you want to relax, right? You want to enjoy God's country. Relax under the beautiful skies. Enjoy the water. Not have karaoke blasting in your ear all day. Sorry, I love karaoke. We both love karaoke. We're big karaoke fans. We sing karaoke at least 2 or 3 times a month, right? We get together and do our karaoke parties. But when you go to the lake, come on now.
Not at the beach. Can you imagine being at the beach, just chilling and relaxing and maybe cooking some hot dogs on your little grill right next to you and all of a sudden hearing like all through the parking lot. It's not good and it's not fun.
We even had the park management come by and tell us to turn it down. Not us, the people doing it. We were like...
I saw the whole thing. I was a witness. And the DNR guy came up and he said, "Can you please turn that off?" Nothing. Because they were singing so damn loud, nobody could hear anything. And he said, "Hey, can you turn that off?" Nothing. And then finally he walks up there, "Hey, turn it down." And everyone's like, "Why is he so mad?" Well, duh. He told you guys 3 times to turn it down and you couldn't hear because you guys were too busy screeching into the microphone.
So I got toned down a little bit, but then it got turned back up again right next to the little cabana tent that some people were trying to take a nap in, enjoying the great outdoors, enjoying the great weather, taking a little nap in the sand. They put the karaoke right now. Anyway.
Long story short, leave that crap at home.
But the lake was great.
It was great that day.
Sandy beaches. It was really beautiful there.
They're famous for their raspberries, gooseberries, and what's the other berry?
Well, berries. They have raspberry days. So the main city on the Utah side. So the Bear Lake is half in Idaho, half in Utah. On the Utah side is Garden City, and every August, I believe it's the first weekend in August. It's raspberry days, and it's just the perfect weather up there for growing raspberries and other berries.
A week long.
And they got the best berries. So they have raspberry days up there in Garden City, and they also make the greatest raspberry ice creams up there.
Gosh, a really good ice cream place to go there. There's a really famous place up there. What do you mean to know? LeBeau's or something.
Yeah, I know. It's always got a huge line coming out of there, so it's hard to get in there and get in.
It's called LeBeau's. The line is around the block like 3 times, like wrapped around. There's so many people there. However, this past summer when we went to Bear Lake, we found a good spot for ice cream.
There's another city about about 10 miles
We,
around?
we were at Rendezvous Beach. So from Rendezvous Beach, it's about a mile and a half. So just right down the
Is
road.
it Lake Point, I believe the city's called?
I think it's called Lake Point.
Lake Point, something like that. Right there at Rendezvous Beach. And they got their own little ice cream shack over there.
But we didn't do that one. But we drove down the street, and there is a gas station on the corner on the right, the very first one you come to. And there's like kind of like a roll-up door. It was an old car wash, I believe.
Used to be an old mechanic shop.
Yeah, like an old garage car wash, something or other. But that's what they call it, the car wash ice cream shop, I believe. Yep. And their Oreo raspberry shake.
I turned him onto that
is
one.
Incredible.
Yeah, that was really good.
And I can't even taste properly because of the stinking COVID thing, and that tasted amazing to me. So anyone who goes there, car wash ice cream shop right off of Rendezvous Point, you won't regret it.
Any of the ice creams are great, but we do recommend the raspberry Oreo shake.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
It was really good.
Yes.
So not only do we have the multitude of lakes here, we got 5 national parks here as well in Utah.
5.
Zions, Bryce Canyon, Canyonlands. What's the other ones? Capitol Reef and Arches.
Yes.
5 beautiful national parks. You've probably seen them on all the postcards and the posters, the big old huge red rock arches and all that. And they're all within at least a 4 hours drive.
Yeah, a few years ago, remember those people that anchored the cable to the arch and were doing the pendulum swing off of the arch?
Right.
Guys, if you're new here and you go down to these national parks, please don't write your name in graffiti on the rock.
My
Please
goodness.
don't pendulum swing off of this tens of millions a year old rock. Like, come on now.
Please respect the outdoors over here. That's why we love this state so much, is the outdoors are great and you got to respect it.
And we are up in northern Utah. All these national parks are in southern Utah. And I'll be perfectly honest with you. I'm the controversial guy here. If you move here, you got to go once, and that's it. Okay. After that, stay away from those areas. There's like a waiting list to go into those places because so many people want to go there.
Right.
And they are beautiful. Yes. That's why you should do it once and take lots of pictures and then forget about it.
Well, Zions Park, you used to be able to just drive through that park, get in your cars and drive through and spend all day in the park. Now you got to park outside of it and you got to get on the bus because, like you said, it's just crowded. There's a lot of people that really love to go to these parks. And it was back then, it was like a little, like you had to just slowly go through because it was just train loads of cars going through there.
When I was a kid, we parked, walked in there.
Well, now they have the shuttles. You can get on the shuttle and they'll take you to each little destination within the park. You can get off the shuttle, go check it out, spend an hour or two there, come back, get on the shuttle again and go to another location. So I actually like it that way a lot more. It was kind of nice being in your own car, but at the same time, it's less people. It's a lot more enjoyable when you get on those shuttles now instead of having to wait in those long lines as the cars went through the park.
Yeah, true that. There's also another really cool place. It's not down quite as far as all those places, but it's kind of down by Cedar City. It's called Cedar Breaks. Have you ever heard of Cedar Breaks?
Cedar Breaks is nice.
Cedar Breaks is nice, and I remember it from when I was a kid because they have a fish hatchery there. And when you're a kid and you're looking at all these fish swimming around in there, that's pretty cool. It was burned into my brain. So that's a cool place. And then another one we didn't mention is Moab. Everyone knows Moab.
I do have it on my list, actually.
It's the red slick rock. So if you like rollerblading, mountain biking.
It is the mountain biking. It is the number one destination, Moab, Utah, which is about 3 hours from Salt Lake City.
About that.
It is the number one destination for mountain biking and Jeeps. The Jeeps go out there. There's the Jeep trails, and they take their Jeeps up through these Jeep trails. You can hire a private tour guide to take you through, or you can do it on your own. But also, I think they have the Red Bull mountain biking thing that they do every year as well down there. So It's the number one destination for mountain biking and the Jeeps.
Yep, and yeah, the Jeeps are funny. You can look up Jeep fails on YouTube down in Moab with them climbing. I don't even know why they do that, but anyway, it's cool looking, I guess. But yeah, the slick rock is cool, and I don't even know whatever else they're doing nowadays.
They got wineries down in Moab as well. So little Moab wineries, you can go down and do some wine tasting over there as well. Great wine.
So you can get drunk and go get stuck and roll over in your Jeep.
And you can go viral on YouTube.
Yeah, you probably will actually.
But kind of going back to what you're talking about, respecting the outdoors, there's also Goblin Valley.
Ooh, yeah.
Goblin Valley is this little place here in Utah. It's a little stone
little stone
structures,
formations, like sandstone that was erosion from the rain and weather over millions of years.
And from a distance, it looks like little goblins sitting in this little valley. I mean, if you were far away, you'd think that they're little goblin things going through here. But anyway, people went down there and started tipping them over. Again, respect the outdoors. I mean, this is a beautiful place to live. Don't do that. Come on, people.
You know what? I think anyone that does that stuff, they need to go to jail, mandatory 5 years. That'll make your dummy A.
Yeah, if we can catch them. Unfortunately, there's no security cameras or anything out there. We don't know who did it.
You know what? I'm thinking of starting a new company now. We're going to put security cameras in all those spots so we can catch these guys. Yeah, anyway. Oh, one thing we didn't mention that everyone knows about in Utah, there's Skinwalker Ranch.
Ooh. Now we're getting into this isn't the outdoors, but
the Skinwalker. Oh, it's outdoors, all right. Well, you'll be running.
it's something you don't normally take the family to, but unless you got a cool family that likes to get creeped out a little bit.
Well, if there's a gentleman here, a big real estate developer. His name's Brandon Fugel. He pretty much owns Utah. Everywhere you look around, it's his company, but he owns Skinwalker Ranch, and we have a friend who's actually friends with him. So he says he's a really cool guy. I don't know if he would let you go down there and camp out or whatever if you send him a message or not. But
Skinwalker Ranch. So it's what is the gist of the Skinwalker Ranch?
Well, there is a lot of paranormal, whatever that means, activity there. People have seen UFOs. One guy who, if you've seen Skinwalker Ranch on TV, the one guy that works there, his brain actually swelled. It was swelling, and something happened there with some radioactivity or something that actually caused that. He almost died. But if you guys don't know what a skinwalker is, a skinwalker is kind of like the only thing I can think about is like Slender Man, but naked and really like lanky, the Skinwalker. Kind of looks like
it's like someone took their skin off and stretched it all out.
Yeah, have you ever seen a hairless raccoon? Everyone thinks hairless raccoons. Hairless raccoons kind of look like a chupacabra, they say, right? So that's kind of like what a skinwalker is, but it's really big. And there's lots of stories about the Native Americans here who have seen the skinwalker and everything like that. So
that's a great idea. Maybe we should do our next or one of our videos over in Skinwalker.
Oh yeah, that's there's a lot of haunted places actually here in Utah. And in another episode, we'll talk about ghost stories.
Definitely, we've got coming up on another episode. We're going to talk about haunted locations in Utah. We've got a few of those.
We're coming up on Halloween. Maybe we'll make that our next one.
Halloween, my favorite time of year, actually. So we got the great outdoors, right? National parks, skiing, fishing, camping, hiking trails. So again, if you're an outdoors person, Utah is the place. I believe we're ranked number 3 in outdoor activities. There's a few other states that have great outdoor activities, but Utah is in the top right there.
And there's so much more stuff out there to do. Maybe another episode would dive deep into just the cool stuff, like the Homestead Crater.
We could go for hours on the great outdoors here in Utah.
There's Crystal Hot Springs.
Greatest snow on earth.
Greatest snow on earth. We have natural hot springs here. We have skinwalkers. We have bees.
Well, we are the Beehive State.
We're the state of industry.
Yes. So number 2 reason. We'll go on to number 2 now. Number 2 reason for a pro for living in Utah is our economy. We have a great economy.
Our state motto is industry.
Yes, economy. So when the 2008 crash hit us and all the home prices went down, I mean, it did hit Utah, but not as bad as a lot of other places. Not as bad as a lot of East Coast places. Detroit, Las Vegas got hit pretty bad, but Utah stayed pretty strong, actually. I mean, we did go down a little bit, but on average was a lot better than most places here in the United States.
I say that's because of good government.
We have
good management.
We are a pro-friendly government here in Utah. So
pro-business.
Pro-business. We have a pro-business government here.
I don't know about pro-government, but they're pro-business, that's for sure.
Delete that one. I said pro-government. I did not say that. I said pro-business. Sorry.
Hey, we all make mistakes.
But yeah, great economy here. I mean, we've got a lot of tech companies moving here. We got a lot of health industry companies moving here.
Silicon Slopes.
Yep.
That's the next. Well, it already is the next Silicon Valley.
Yeah. So we had Silicon Valley back in California, which a lot of them are leaving California because California's not really. Yeah, they're not the best pro-business state. So they're coming to here to Utah. A lot of them are. We had eBay move in here. We had Amazon move in here. We had Adobe move in here.
Yep.
A lot of the health care industries. New Skin Foundation is here. What's that one? doTERRA, USANA. A lot of
doTERRA, yeah.
All those businesses have set up headquarters here in Utah. And
Young Living.
when they do that, it brings the jobs, right?
And all these places that set up shop here makes Utah one of the #1 states for multi-level marketing.
Yeah, we got a lot of multi-level marketing here. If you're into multi-level marketing, come on out to Utah. I'll sell you something. I'll find something to sell you.
You know what? I've tried that stuff, and it's for the birds. But you know what? People are successful in it.
Yeah.
You know,
if it's your thing, it's your thing. I mean,
some people are successful. If you really like going out and talking to people in the grocery store when you're shopping, God bless you. I don't want to be bothered when I'm out. So if you ever see me out, you can see me here. You ever see me out in the store, don't talk to me.
That's the kind of guy he is.
Don't talk to me.
I'm in sales myself, so I talk to a lot of people, but it's a different kind of sales. I don't do multi-level marketing.
Now, I just want to clear it up. I can talk to people, and I know how to talk to people. I just don't like most people. Micah's the good cop. I'm the bad cop.
I'm the good-looking cop.
Yes, and I'm the bad-looking
If you guys can even tell us apart, right? The two white guys with the bald heads.
I know all you're seeing is a glare on your screen, but, we'll have to just, put your hand up like that and see through all of it. Oh, there we go. I can see me. There we go.
Great economy, right? So we got the diverse industry, the tech hub like we just talked about. What else we have out here? We have healthcare and biotech moving out this way. We talked about that. We already talked about the outdoors. A lot of outdoor industry out here. The ski resorts, a lot of tourism for the outdoors, fishing, camping. We got hunters that come in here that want to come hunt the Utah lands, that want to fish the Utah lands. So that contributes also to the economy.
If you want to go splunking, I don't know if Utah still is a big splunking state. You ever seen that movie, The Final Descent, right?
You have to explain spelunk. Oh, splunking, that's the cave guys?
Splunking, where they go into a cave. Anyway, I'll just touch on this, but we'll delve into it in another episode. There's a series of little tubes. I don't even want to call it a cave because it's not. They're like tubes where you're crawling through like you're
no thank you,
like a baby like this, and there's nothing, you can't move at all. Okay, and it's called the Nutty Putty Cave. But anyway, there's a movie called The Final Descent. Watch that movie, and it tells you all about that. I would not set one foot in those caves. I'm claustrophobic. I would freak out. But anyway, I'll just leave it hanging there, and we'll delve into that in another episode.
No, that's not my thing. I don't like those little.
But there's a lot of caves. We have a lot of mountains. Splunkers are in heaven. Yeah. Be careful.
So that contributes to the economy. Education and research institutions. University of Utah, one of the greatest,
world-renowned
medical universities.
Huntsman Cancer Institute.
Yes.
For those that don't know, the Huntsmans, they are a founding Utah family that was one of the founders in Utah way back in the 1800s. Did you know that?
I did know that, yes.
Yeah. They
Huntsman Center.
Huntsman Center. They owned the Huntsman Hotel. They had a mercantile store back in the day, but they were very affluent and they earned a lot of money. And that's how they became, one of the prominent family members. But, they have a cancer institute that has world-class cancer research. We have probably the best pediatric hospitals in the world, I would say here. That's all due to those guys.
Yeah, great university up there. I mean, we got also other universities. Provo has BYU.
Boo. No.
I grew up a big BYU fan watching BYU football. My dad was a huge BYU guy.
BYU who?
BYU. But sorry, guys.
Who's the most famous person to come out of BYU?
Most famous person I know to come out of BYU was one of my sports heroes, Steve Young. I love Steve Young.
Oh yeah, Steve Young did. I was thinking about somebody else. So.
Well, Jim McMahon came out of it. Jim McMahon came out of BYU as well. Yes.
Came out of Roy High School.
Yeah.
Roy High School is a dump if you guys didn't know that. But Jim McMahon, He came out with Ty Detmer.
Yeah,
You
Jim
got
McMahon took the Bears to the '85 Super Bowl championship.
Steve Young. I think Steve Young only went there because his great grandfather was Brigham Young.
Yeah, so Steve Young was a descendant of Brigham Young, who was one of the leaders of the Mormon Church way back in the day.
He had 9 wives.
Well, we won't go into that.
Well, we have to. We're going into the history sometimes.
We're on economy right now.
Oh, sorry, my bad. We'll go back into that.
The bad cop likes to go on bad little side trips.
My brain is all over the place.
So again, pro-business government. We got low unemployment. Have always had low unemployment, just because a lot of tech companies moving out this way. A lot of companies move out this way. So business friendly that our unemployment rate has always been really low.
Not just that too. I mean, if you really want a job, you can work construction. You can work a trade. The trade jobs here are incredible, and they're making just as much as people who go to college for 4 years. You know, they're making $100,000 being a plumber. Yep. You know. So that's good too. So
all you kids out there, don't go to those 4-year universities, get $100,000 in student debt. Go to a trade school, learn how to build houses, run electrical, do all that stuff. Make a lot more money and you won't be in debt.
So if you're unemployed and you say you can't find a job, that's not true.
No.
Stop being lazy.
Not in Utah anyway. There's lots of jobs out here.
You want a job, you can get a job.
And our population growth also contributing to the economy. We got a lot of population. I'm kind of split on this myself. I do love that everyone loves Utah and wants to come here and be a part of it. But at the same time, I love the size of Salt Lake City right now. It's a perfect size.
Get out of the left lane. Get out of the left lane. The actual number last year for Utah, we were number 1 in the country for population growth at 17%. That's actually a lot for 1 year. So it's like 1 year we were like, hey, yeah, man, it takes us 12 minutes to get across the valley, Now it takes 35 because people won't get out of the left lane.
Yeah, that's kind of that's why I'm kind of split. I mean, I love it. I think it's great that people want to come here, but at the same time, I like the size we're at. I mean,
yeah,
we're at the perfect size. We're a big enough city where we got all the big city stuff, but we're not too big where we're overgrown and overpopulated. There's still a lot of, we still got a lot of places to build out here. We can still expand quite a bit, but at the same time, I don't want to get too big.
No.
I don't want to be like LA. I mean, we'll never get that big. I hope. Fingers crossed. Or
no.
Some of these other cities are just way overpopulated.
You've driven in California, right?
Yeah, I've been there.
All right. Well, everyone drives in the left lane. That's why I know all the California drivers that come here do the exact speed limit in the left lane. It's not like that here. So when you guys move here, kind of hang back and chill out for a bit and see how the flow goes. You know what I'm saying? Every state is different. You got to go with the flow. Don't come here because everyone's thinking what I'm thinking. Oh my God, they're from California.
Well, actually, when I lived in Hawaii for 10 years, the speed limit out there on the freeways is 55.
10.
There's 55, right? So I'm used to doing 55, 60, 65, whatever. But it's 55 going out there. When I moved back here to Utah, speed limits went up to, if you're out in the West Desert, out there, you got 80 miles per hour. You can go out there.
80.
But the freeway speeds are 70 miles per hour. So it was like, I was driving slow. I was like, oh my goodness, everyone's going so fast. Took me a minute to get up there, but I'm up to speed now.
So you know what I'm saying? Like hang back for a bit, check and see how the flow goes, and then get into it. Don't come in and start messing stuff up.
And the left lane. When you're in the left lane, that's the passing lane. That's not the chill out lane.
That's right? The fast lane. Those are for the people that want to go 80, not 70.
Well, not even 80, man. People out here are doing 85, 90.
90. I'm doing 80 and people are flying past me like I'm doing 10.
But it's all good. It's safe. We're safe. There's not that many accidents.
The roads are pretty straight, gradual curves. It's laid out like a grid pattern.
Everyone does forget how to drive in the wintertime, though.
Although I would say this, we do have to get better about doing our lines on the road because when it rains, our lines disappear for some reason and everyone is all over the place.
Yeah, I had someone ask, I saw a comment one time saying, why don't we use the reflective striping on the road so we can see better?
Because the snow plows would knock it off every winter and it would be such an expense.
You got to know the technology. When I lived in Hawaii, I was working with a company that sold these reflective paints. And there's little glass beads in the paint, and that means it's going to be about, it's going to be raised up off the road. So when the snow plows come through in the wintertime, it's going to scrape that all off. So unfortunately, we can't use the reflective lane striping. We can't use the little, we called them manapuas back in Hawaii, little reflective
can't
things.
do that.
You can't use those because, again, the snow plows will take them away. But
if you want to get rich, come up with a great idea to not make our lines disappear when it rains.
Yeah. So economy was number 2. Number 3 on our list of the 5 best reasons to live in Utah is our crime rate is pretty low. We got a
Very
really
low.
low crime rate compared to these other big cities. I watch the news and I don't hear about a lot of
Somebody
violent
walking down the
crimes.
street and getting knocked out,
Yeah,
eating pizza.
You just don't hear about it that often, if ever.
You know why?
Why is that?
Pretty much if you were walking down the street and somebody came up and punched you, that person would get shot right away.
We are constitutional carry state here in
We
Utah.
are armed. If you do not know what constitutional carry is, you don't have to go through all the bureaucratic rigmarole of getting a permit and all this stuff. And you can go buy a gun and carry it out in the open like you're in the Old West if you want to.
Of course, when you buy the gun, you go through the whole background check
check.
and all that. There's no loopholes. There's no way to get around it other than
That's a myth. There's no loophole.
the only if we did a personal sale between me and you don't get background check. But other than that,
that might be the loophole. But we don't exchange guns between us. We
But-
buy them and say, "Hey, man, look at this."
but Derek speaks the truth. Though. I mean, you don't know who's carrying out there. You have no idea because anybody can carry. I carry sometimes. If I'm going to a place that I think I might carry it, I'll carry.
And just so anyone knows, as you get to know Micah and I, if you see me out in public, just know I'm carrying, because when I go out in a crowd or to a restaurant or to a movie or anything, I'm carrying my gun because I'm not going to be a sitting duck.
Yeah. So constitutional carry, which we do believe, and statistics show. I mean, it's
Our
a
crime
lower
rate
crime
is
rate.
low.
Yeah. You don't know. That's why you see some of these shooters that go in, they always go to gun-free zones, right?
Yeah.
They want to go where they're going to have the least resistance.
Exactly.
There's going to be resistance over here.
Whatever politicians' idea it was to put up gun-free zones because, criminals follow the laws, they're an idiot.
That's why they're called criminals.
Yeah, they're an idiot.
They don't follow laws.
So speaking of that, we'll go into some news from other states. New Mexico, the governor of New Mexico. Did you see what?
Well, I have a friend that lives in New Mexico, and he's posting all the time about how frustrated he is with the government out there.
Well, they just suspended the Second Amendment. I don't know if they,
That's crazy.
I don't know if they brought it back, but she said, we're in an emergency. They made up something so they could declare a state of emergency in their state. And just because there's a state of emergency doesn't suspend the Constitution. Like, that's what these people don't understand.
Constitution trumps everything else.
But they banned, she unilaterally banned guns in the cities of Albuquerque, all the big cities and all that stuff. And you know what the people did? They went out with all their weapons. I saw one guy, he was carrying like 10 guns on him saying, come and get them, So that's what we are. We're never going to get to that point, because I just don't think we will.
Yeah, well, we've grown up in the state. We are a more conservative state as far as politics go. Always have been. We got a lot of hunters out here. We got a lot of people that just love their guns. They love to go out and shooting and hunting and doing all that stuff. And
When I was in school, we got a day off to go deer hunting.
right.
like,
I remember that. Yeah.
Oh, you're going deer hunting? Oh, okay, you're excused. You don't have to take the math test.
During the deer hunt, we would have the guys would go out hunting and the girls would go over to Wendover, Nevada, and do their thing.
You're gonna go blow Bambi away? Okay, you can take the test next week. And then we called them cowboys, or we called them the cowboys in school, but the cowboys would come, in their trucks, and they would have their shotguns and rifles in the back window and their gun racks. Nobody went out there and grabbed their gun and came in and shot anyone up. You know why? Because we had morals back then, and our morals were great.
We respect people.
We respect human life. But you know what? If somebody drove up into a high school with their innocent little deer hunting rifle on their gun rack in the back window, oh my God, SWAT team would be there in 5 seconds.
Well, that kind of brings us to one of the points I have here is our strong community values.
Yes.
We have great community values here. People helping people all the time. You see it all the time. I've got friends. I've got a really dear friend of mine who has an organization where she helps domestic violence women, getting out of domestic violence. She helps them. She set up her own little nonprofit organization. And we see these all the time everywhere. Just great community values, strong community values here.
Anytime something happens in any neighborhood or any area, people get together and they pitch in. That's what we do.
Yeah.
So if you're moving in here from out of state and you see people out there, pitch in.
Yeah. And I remember back in 1984, I was a Boy Scout then. And that's when we had a lot of snow that winter, and it warmed up super quick.
We had a river down Main Street.
Rivers coming down Main Street. I mean, the snow melted off those mountains so quickly. Main Street was a river.
Yep.
And as a Boy Scout, we went out there and we were filling sandbags.
Put
And we
sandbags right on
I
the
couldn't
sides.
believe how many people I saw out there filling sandbags and just trying to protect all these businesses. And I mean, that's just how we are out here. We come together when it's needed the most.
Well, we have to, if you think about it, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
We have to. So if you want your neighborhoods to stay safe and clean and, happening, we got to come together and keep the trash out,
If you love the community you live in, love helping out and keeping it that way.
Yes.
And that's Utah, Salt Lake City. I mean, all of Utah, we're like that. Strong community values.
Strong family first culture.
And we, so another point here, investment in education and youth programs. So a lot of education, like I said before, we got great universities out here. We've got BYU down in Provo, University, Utah, and Salt Lake City.
Tons of charter schools.
School choice.
My children go to a charter school and I love it.
Yeah. So, and even the public schools aren't bad. I mean,
They're not bad, but they're still public school.
Yeah, there's a couple of them that maybe, could clean up a little bit, but for the most part, our public schools are pretty good.
Yeah, most of them don't have metal detectors, and when you enter,
I don't think I know of one public school we have with a metal detector.
Maybe West High. That's about it. Maybe Granger High.
I went to Granger High first semester.
Oh, geez, I feel sorry for you. No, I'm just kidding.
Granger it wasn't bad. I went to Kearns mostly, but I went for one semester to Granger. All my friends were back at Kearns, so I actually transferred back to Kearns. But
It's over by where I live now. But yeah, I remember back in the day, I had some friends that went to Granger. They were Samoans, and those are good guys to have on your side when you're young because they're giant.
they're good on your football team too.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so we got great educational systems out here, access to quality education, and cultural emphasis on lawfulness. I mean, we keep the laws. I mean,
For the most part, the attorney general prosecutes criminals. For the most part.
well, we're not the catch and release ones. Though.
No, we're not catch and release. However, depends on whether charges want to be brought.
But
I digress.
We don't let the bad guys go.
We don't let the bad guys go. If they really did something, they're going down to Chinatown. And we do have a Chinatown. Our wives are there all the time.
So my number 4 point, actually, on a great reason to live here in Utah, and it kind of goes off the strong community values thing as well, as we have a really family first culture here. Family first. I mean,
Yes.
I'm sure everybody knows Utah is the headquarters for the LDS Church, the Latter-day Saints, the Mormon Church. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's where we live. But the great thing, love or hate the Mormons, and I know lots of Mormons, and I love them all. They're all great people, no matter what you say. They're not a cult. I grew up LDS. I believe you grew up LDS as well.
I did. I think they're a cult. I'm teasing.
I don't think. I mean, the great thing I got from the church though was that they did teach a lot of great morals,
and values.
Yes. Family first. You take care of your family. And they believe in big families, like the Catholic Church. My wife is Catholic. They also believe in big families and family friendliness. And
I think that's changing for the most part nowadays because, back in the day they had a big family because everyone had a farm. They needed help on the farm, So all the kids had chores and all that, but then people didn't have farms and now they just have 20 kids. So if you just moved here and you see a family walking with like 20 people, don't be alarmed. That's common.
They're not necessarily polygamous. They're normal families.
I mean, there are some here,
we do have a polygamist.
What's his name? Jeff's.
Yeah, I mean, there's that there. I mean, for me personally, you do your thing, I'll do my thing.
There's crazy people everywhere.
That's fine. Whatever you guys want to do, that's fine. I'm not going to get into your business.
You want to have 10 wives and be worn out all the time?
But
I'm worn out with one.
We digress again. So, but family values. I mean, like I said, the church here.
They do teach morals. They teach morals in a good family structure.
Quite a lot of good teachings. I mean, they teach you to be prepared as well. When what we saw here a few years ago when craziness happened, right? When the riots happened, the summer of love happened.
The summer of love.
And we started running out of toilet paper, and we started running out of water. Toilet paper, of all things to run out of, right? We started running out of. The church, actually, growing up in the church, they teach us to be prepared for those times and have those supplies ready. So
most Mormons, when it hit, they were like, yeah, and?
Yeah.
We already have that.
Yeah, you can your fruit. You grow fruits and vegetables. You can them. You put them away. You keep them for the year. I mean, you go out and you have those stacks of whatever it is you need to have to be prepared for times like that. And there were plenty of us were prepared for that.
I actually wasn't, because we lived in an apartment. I mean, we had our surplus, but you can only get so much in an apartment. I remember going over to everywhere was out of toilet paper, and I was like, what the hell is going on? Does everyone have diarrhea now all of a sudden? And that wasn't even one of the symptoms of this coronavirus, right? But I went over to Big Lots. I'm searching, and I saw a truck driver walking out of Big Lots with two rolls things of toilet paper under his arm, and I ran up to him and I said, "Hey man, is there toilet paper in there?" And he was like, "Oh yeah." And I was like, "Are you sure?" He was like, "I hope so. I just dropped it off." And I was like, "Yes." Got on the phone with everyone I knew. Yo, toilet paper, Big Lots. Yo, toilet paper, Big Lots.
It was crazy times. I mean, people were posting on Facebook, "Hey, they've got toilet paper over here at the Walmart on Redwood and whatever. Hurry, get over there before it's gone."
And if you could see an aerial shot of all this crap going on, it's like the crowd goes over here. No, it's over here. No, over here. And everyone's just driving around all day. "What'd you do today, honey?" "I went hunting for toilet paper."
Toilet paper hunting.
Toilet paper and bottled water hunting.
But family culture. So, the Mormon church did teach us to be prepared, even though some of us weren't prepared. But
well, both of us are married to Filipinas too. And you know what some of our Filipina friends did? They said, "You know what? I don't need no stinking toilet paper." They ordered bidets off of Amazon.
Yeah.
And that's what they did. And, it cleans your nether regions very well. So whatever, toilet paper, bidet, whatever floats your boat.
And a bidet, for those that don't know, is
got a little drinking fountain that squirts up your butt. Pretty much.
But don't actually drink it.
Yeah, because it's coming straight out the toilet. I mean, you could drink it if you were in a jam, but.
And what's the other one? What's the other one they called that you fill up the little bucket, the tabo, or?
I don't know, but there's one where they have a bucket and a big pail scoop thing, and apparently you dump it down.
Just wash yourself
crack
instead of using the toilet paper.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something else besides toilet paper.
Never shake their right hand. No, I'm just kidding.
So like I said, traditional values, it's a conservative state that we live in. A lot of traditional values, family first. We do believe in the family unit. The family unit is very important.
Yes.
So we support that 100%. Fathers in the home, mothers in the home, traditional roles. Now, when I say traditional roles, I mean, that doesn't mean the wife stays home and does the housework and everything. But there is, the traditional families.
Yes. And that's what we need to keep intact in this world is the nuclear family. Because, every study from the beginning of time has shown that mothers and fathers and their children, they benefit from each other.
Yeah.
And, growing up, the kids have a stronger sense of morality, a stronger sense of, what am I trying to get to?
Well, I mean, with males and females, right? Males are built differently than females. Males are built to provide. They're the hunters. They're the providers.
Yes.
They go out there and they get their hands dirty and they bring home the food, right? The mothers are the carers and the nurturers of the world.
They nurture.
And come on now.
Like when my kids get hurt, I'm like, yeah, suck it up. My wife's like, "Oh my God, honey, come here." So who do you think they go to?
They go to mommy.
Yeah. Of course. I'm like, walk it off. You'll be okay.
But you're not that bad. One of my other points here is the education and parental involvement. Now, you have 2 girls in school.
Yes.
You are one of the biggest supporters of going to their schools and helping them out. And
Yes. Everyone at their school, again, they go to a charter school, and it's a lot different than a public school. Smaller classroom sizes. It's more personal. I walk in the front door, and it's like Norm on Cheers. Everyone's like, "Derek!" And I'm like, "Hey, what's up?"
just without the beer.
Yeah, and I'm not very fat, but I walk in there and everyone knows me. The girls at the front desk, the janitor, I help him every year since for 6 years now, help him straighten up the classrooms and get all the desks straight every year before school starts. So he knows me, and I volunteer, and yeah, it's great.
Yeah. So again,
I wouldn't change it because, when my girls get older, they're going to remember all that stuff.
Family first values out here. That brings us to my 5th pro for living in Utah, and that is one of my favorites. Actually, is the changing of the seasons.
I love the 4 seasons.
I love the 4 seasons too. When I went out to Hawaii and I spent 10 years out there, and Christmas time would come and there's no snow,
It's 80
I'm like,
degrees.
wait a minute, this isn't Christmas. This is not Christmas. How is Santa Claus going to land his sleigh? There's no snow, right? But anyway, it felt different to me. It just didn't feel right. The Christmas didn't feel right to me. But being here in Utah, the changing of the seasons, I love the changing of the seasons.
Yeah. My wife, Ann, and I, the other day, she wanted to play hooky from work, and she wanted to go out on a date with me. So we drove up Big Cottonwood Canyon and went down to, what's Guardsman's Trail? Mm-hmm. Is that what it's called?
Where there's the Alpine Loop Pass as well. Guardian's Trail.
It's by Bonanza Point and all that stuff, and Blood.
Is that the one that goes up over the mountain?
Yeah, Bloodbath Trail or some crap over there too. So it started with blood, but it was really pretty. Like the orange in the trees is so vivid. It was like incredible. Like I almost crashed a few times because I was hypnotized by it. But
yeah, as of this recording right now, we're at the end of September, so that's when leaves are changing right now.
Yes.
If you live out here, if you come out here ever in the fall when the leaves are changing, Guardsman's Pass is a great one to go on. There's also the Alpine Loop, which is a little stretch of road there that you go through, and it just goes through the mountains, and you see all those beautiful changing of the leaves, the colors.
Vermont's got nothing on us.
Yeah, it's very beautiful. People love to go out there and take their pictures, family pictures during this time.
Go up Logan Canyon. Logan Canyon is beautiful.
Logan Canyon, that's the way we go up towards Bear Lake.
Yes.
And Logan is a beautiful town too. If I could buy some property, Logan would be one of my top destinations actually to buy property.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
So Logan is actually, and we got Utah State up there as well. The university, Utah State University.
The Aggies.
Yeah, so a great place up there. Beautiful country. It's up a little bit higher elevation than Salt Lake City.
Cache Valley cheese.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, they make some great cheese out there.
Yes, a lot of dairies out there, up that away.
Yeah, so the changing of the seasons, we got also in the wintertime, of course, after the fall comes winter and all the snow comes down. You got the skiing going on during the wintertime. You got white Christmases. We love white Christmases. The kids love white Christmases.
Usually a white Christmas.
My wife, who's a Filipino, never saw the snow until we moved here to Utah, and she loves wintertime. It's her favorite time of the year. I'm not so much of a cold person. I love the warm more, but I still love the snow. And
well, I go through a battle every year too around this time because in the Philippines they have Christmas set up right now, like full swing of Christmas.
Yeah, in the Philippines they start celebrating Christmas in September.
Yeah, and so like my wife, she always wants to set up Christmas stuff like now, and I'm like, Halloween's not even here, right. Thanksgiving's not even here. Can we just let the holidays pass first?
Yeah, in the Philippines you can do that because they don't have Halloween, they don't have Thanksgiving, they don't have those other holidays before Christmas. Which I love the holidays. This time of year is my favorite time of year.
I made my wife a deal, though. During COVID, I said, okay, honey, we can set things up before Thanksgiving. And she was like, oh, my God, I love you. And I was the hero. But last year, I said, come on, please. Let's just have Thanksgiving. Black Friday, we're setting everything up. It's good.
Yeah, so my wife has been slowly getting me to set things up sooner and sooner and sooner. So yeah, last year we did it before Thanksgiving. We'll probably do it again before Thanksgiving.
That's why I drew the line. I said, I'm only doing this because it's COVID.
But I can understand it too because, it goes by so quick. When you get to Thanksgiving and then Christmas is just a month away, that 1 month time goes by. It goes by so quick and you kind of don't get to enjoy all the decorations and the holiday spirit because it goes by so quick. So I kind of get why they want to set it up earlier.
But that's what makes it special.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, don't you want more of special, though?
No. Yes, I do. If it's Christmas, I do.
So wintertime, it's great in the wintertime.
There's some cool stuff to hear during Christmas time, too. Up in Heber, they have the Heber Valley Railroad. They actually have a Polar Express train ride, which is amazing. We used to go on there. They give you free hot cocoa and free cookies. We always rented out the caboose, the red caboose. And Santa would actually come in there and give us a personal visit.
So the Polar Express, it runs from Heber City, right?
Yeah, it just runs from Heber and only goes a mile up the track, and then turns around. And
doesn't
then
it go further? I thought, or maybe it's just because doesn't it go down Provo Canyon past Deer Creek?
There is a train ride that does that over the holidays, but not the Polar Express. That one only goes a mile up, and then you see some guys standing on the side waving to you, and then Santa, when you get to the end, comes on the train, and then they head back. Wow. And then he's visiting everyone on the way back.
Santa's hooking them up out there.
Yeah, and then they have. You ever been to Ogden and seen the Christmas Village? I believe it's called in Ogden.
I haven't seen that. No.
They have all these little cool little like gingerbread house looking things, but each business that sponsors this, they put in like a display, and it's it's probably at least 50 little gingerbread type houses with these displays that you just walk through, and everything's lit up, and it's cold, but you dress warm, but it's really cool. The Christmas Village in Ogden.
Yeah, I know. And going back a little bit, but over at the Gardner Village, which is actually just like it's like a 1 minute drive from my house. Gardner Village does a Halloween thing every year. They do the Halloween, the witches. I forget what it's called, something. But yeah, the Gardner Village, they do a whole Halloween thing over there. That's pretty cool. Wintertime, we got the
Thanksgiving Point.
Yeah, Thanksgiving Point.
They do what's the Luminaria?
Yeah,
Luminaria. We do that every year. It's beautiful.
And then, so after that, we got the spring, of course, and then we got everyone's ready for the snow to stop and start warming up, and spring comes along, and the flowers start blooming, and you start getting out and planting your gardens. And every year we plant a nice big garden and get that going in springtime. And right now we're harvesting. We got a lot of harvest we got to go pick right now. Our garden has gotten crazy.
I didn't plant one this year. I'm lazy.
We got squashes. Squashes grow crazy. My goodness, you can't kill those things. Those things grow forever.
I saw the size of your squashes. They were like the size of this table.
That's between you and me. Don't talk about my squashes.
Don't talk about my squash like that, boy.
So the changing of the season, summertime, again, you got all the outdoor activities in the summertime, camping, fishing, hiking. Love the changing of the seasons. One of my absolutely top reasons I love living here in Utah.
Yeah, and then you have all the lights at Temple Square. Don't know if they're going to have it for a couple more years because they moved the temple. Believe it or not, they moved it. They moved it.
I know when we went there last year, and a lot of it was shut down because they were doing a lot of renovations over there.
Yeah, they actually
so they couldn't normally Temple Square. For you that don't know, that's where the big Salt Lake City temple is.
That's where all the streets are oriented around is Temple Square.
And there's a whole block that's just dedicated to the temple and everything. And then they just light that place up every Christmas with Christmas lights everywhere, and it's the most beautiful sight. I mean, if you love Christmas lights, you would love Temple Square during Christmas. But when we went there last year, there was a lot of it under renovation, and it was just a small portion that they lit up last year.
I believe they moved it already.
The whole temple.
They actually jacked it up.
Really?
And moved it.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I'm going to have to double check. I'm going to have to fact check.
Because they shut it down.
That's a big temple to move.
Well, yeah. They moved the one in Ogden.
Did they?
Yeah, they moved that one years ago. But yeah, the tallest lighthouse in America, right? In Cape Hatteras in North Carolina. They jacked that thing up and moved it.
Where did they move it to?
They moved it 500 feet in from the shore.
No, the temple.
They just moved it in the same area, but they just kind of moved it over because I think they're going to reconfigure the thing.
Okay. I thought you were saying they moved the whole thing out of there.
Oh, no. They just moved it over maybe like 10 or 20 feet, something like that. But they still jack up this.
It's like, did they run out of things to do? Let's go move the temple 10 feet.
They still jack it up on these rollers. And if you haven't seen these type of rollers where they jack these buildings up and roll them, look it up. These things are incredible. They actually look like little roller skates. That's how small they are. But they actually can roll and move huge structures.
Well, it's crazy.
It is.
But anyway, if you're here in the wintertime, go check out Temple Square with the lights. Beautiful lights. So those are top 5 reasons, but I got a bonus one for you because, as I was putting this list together, there's so many great things about living in Utah. One of the things that I think this is a bonus one, number 6 for me, was cultural diversity. I mean, Utah doesn't, when you talk about Utah and Salt Lake City, a lot of people say there's all white people that live out there, which majority is white, of course, but
that's the population.
Yeah, I mean, but the cultural diversity has really grown over the last 10, 15 years. Yes. I remember when I went to Hawaii, being in Utah, I mean, for as far as like cultural food, you got your Chinese restaurants, you got your Mexican restaurants,
Pui,
you got your Italian restaurants, all that. Yeah. So I left and went to Hawaii, and I was kind of bummed because there wasn't a great Mexican restaurant out in Hawaii. But that was like the first thing I want to do when I come back to Utah. I'm going to go get me some good Mexican food. But when I got back here,
Tacos Lopez,
I was surprised at how many new cultural restaurants were here. I mean, there was everything from Afghani food, Middle Eastern food. We got a lot of Thai and Vietnamese food everywhere now. And all you people that live in the bigger cities, like, well, we got that everywhere. Yeah, but Utah didn't have that until just like 10, 15 years. All of a sudden, this cultural diversity is really picking up.
Well, I came from Virginia, lived in the D.C. area for 20 years. Talk about cultural diversity. Lord have mercy. There's like, I was a manager at a restaurant, and there was like 100 different nationalities, in the restaurant chain. I was like, holy cow, I didn't even know there was that many. But So we've had real Korean food. We've had real Chinese food. We've had real like kebab and all that stuff because it's the people that are just, coming over and starting their own restaurant. There is, if you like kebab, there's a place here called Afghan Kitchen. You ever heard of Afghan Kitchen?
Yep.
It looks like a dump. It's like in a kind of a house type thing.
Little hole in the wall kind of place.
It's a hole in the wall, but
those are the best ones.
Lord have mercy on my soul. Their kebabs are very authentic tasting. They taste better than the ones that I had on the East Coast, actually. And they make their own flatbread there, fresh. It is super yummy.
Yeah, and my wife, she's a professional chef, a caterer, and we love to just try new foods.
Kitchen Love Catering.
Shout out to Kitchen Love Catering.
Kitchen Love Catering. For those of you who don't know me, I do not eat pork. I think it's disgusting. I won't go into the reasons why. However, Micah's wife, Rochelle, she makes a pork belly. Lord have mercy on my soul.
Filipino style.
It is one of the best things I've ever tasted. And that's the only pork that I eat. Rochelle's pork belly. That's it.
It's pretty good. But like I said, though, when we came back here, we love trying new foods. And we were testing, we went Peruvian food. There's a Peruvian restaurant over on State Street. There was never one of the
Pollo a la brasa.
That was a great restaurant. We loved that. Indian food was big. A lot of Indian restaurants now. You see those opening up all over the place.
Baba Ganoush. No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, so the cultural diversity as far as foods and the cultures coming over here is great. And growing up, my father was he was the state refugee specialist, and he was in charge of refugees moving into Utah. So growing up with him, I kind of understood that whole process of refugees and immigrants coming in. Both our wives are immigrants from the Philippines.
Legal immigrants.
Legal immigrants. They did it the proper way.
Yes.
Got their citizenships. Congratulations.
They're not a burden on our society.
Just a burden on my pocketbook, that's all.
Yes. Just kidding. I can't say that about my wife.
Guys, you
She's
know
great.
how guys, well.
My wife's great. I love you.
My wife's great too.
So when you're listening to this, don't get mad at me. I love you.
I love you too, babes. But yeah, so the immigration here, the cultural diversity has been something that I've been very excited about. Seeing how much it's grown over like I said, the last 10, 15 years. It's really boomed here. A lot of people moving in from different cultures coming into Utah. It's a great place to be. So why not bring your culture here? We've always had, Mexicans or the Latin cuisines over here.
Latino. There's actually more.
Which is one of my favorites as well. One of my favorite foods.
The latest trend in Mexican restaurants are taco joints, like homemade street taco joints, right? Like there's one over by you called Tacos Lopez.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if y'all know Tacos Lopez. Very good. Lord have mercy. Their carne asada tacos.
I tried to go there a couple of days ago, and the line was just so long.
It's just too crowded.
Yeah.
There's actually one in Midvale too called El Pariente. You ever heard of that one?
I have not heard of that.
It's very good, like Tacos Lopez. El Pariente. Yes.
It's not only the restaurants, but we got a lot of the cultural communities as well. Again, our wives are Filipino. We got the Filipino communities that we've gotten involved with.
All my neighbors are Latino. In my house, in my neighborhood, we help each other out. And
we were just down at the Chinatown. There's a grocery store area that has a lot of Asian grocery stores and restaurants. Chinatown over on State Street.
Everyone's got Chinatown.
I was just over there a couple days ago, and they've got posters up there. The Korean festival, I believe, is coming up this week. Mm-hmm. There's the Vietnamese festival. There's a few different festivals going on. So a lot of if you are of a different culture of immigration status, Utah welcomes you. We've got all the different cultural programs and organizations here as well.
We do have the Asian grocery stores, but I apologize in advance. They do smell like an Asian grocery store. I don't know why they all smell like that for some reason.
What does an Asian grocery store smell like?
You ever been to Reams?
Like pho?
Yeah. No. Rotten pho. You ever been to Reams?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Remember when you were a kid and you walked into Reams and it had that smell? It was just the Reams. It would smell. I don't know. I don't know. The ones in Chinatown, they smell really bad for some reason. I don't like to go inside.
Well, disclaimer here. He did have COVID. His smell doesn't work as good as it used to.
Oh, no. This was before COVID.
I enjoy the smells, actually, because a lot of those places actually have the little eateries in there as well.
Yes,
so, you go into Ocean Mart over on State Street and 90th. They got the ducks hanging from the window.
Yeah.
They make everything there fresh every day.
Poor ducks.
Yeah.
dripping.
Sure to taste good, though.
They do taste good, but poor things. They could at least cut off their head. They're like looking at us hanging there.
Yeah, it's like that movie. What was that movie? Was that
The Christmas Story.
Yeah.
Rah, 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 rah.
And they open it up, and there's the duck's head. Ah!
Like, it's looking at me. That's funny.
Each to their
And
own,
he
right?
goes,
Different cultures. That's why I love it. I love it. Different cultures.
Yes.
But anyway, so that's our top 6 actually points of pros of living here in Utah. So if any of you are thinking of coming out this way, it's a great place. I love it. I've always loved it here. I've moved out of state a few times, and I always end up coming back to Utah.
Everyone always comes back home.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was out for 20 years, and I missed it. We ended up coming back because my wife wanted to come out here on vacation. And we came out here, and she was like, oh, my God, this place is beautiful. So she looked for a job, got one. We moved out.
Yeah. Same with my wife. We came here from Hawaii, met my wife in Hawaii. We got married on the beach, came out here, says, you want to come check out where I'm from, Utah? Sure. We came out here, and she said the same thing. Like, yeah, Utah is great. I love it
Holy
here.
crap, this place is beautiful.
You want to go back to Hawaii where your family's? Nope, I don't. I want to stay here. I want my family to come here is what she's telling them.
And you know what's funny? Like when you live here when you first move here, you're so like blown away and in awe by the mountains and the way everything looks and all that. But after, a few years of living here, people don't even notice the mountains anymore. Not me. I love looking at the mountains.
I notice them every day.
I love going in the mountains. I love watching the sunrise over there. It's the prettiest thing I've ever seen.
I love how the mountains change colors.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
In summertime, or the springtime, they're all green.
Yes.
Then they come fall time, they turn colors. They go reds and oranges and yellows.
Yes.
The winter comes.
Even up Logan Canyon, there's some blues.
Wintertime comes, it looks like someone spread powdered sugar all over the tops of the mountains. It's beautiful.
So nice. And you got the snow hanging on the peaks in the mountains until what? July?
Yeah.
Usually. It's pretty nice. It's nice.
Yeah.
So
anyway, that is our top 6 pros of living in Utah. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Again, don't forget, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Give us a comment. Let us know what you think. If there's anything we missed, let us know.
we're begging you.
Yeah.
Like our channel.
So
If you want these awesome podcasts to continue, it's not like we need money or anything, but we're not going to do it if nobody likes us.
I don't need money, but you can give me money.
You can give me money too. But hopefully you liked it. Hopefully you thought we were entertaining. This was actually pretty tame. I'm sure the more episodes we do, it'll be...
Maybe we'll do a 5 cons of living in Utah as well. Just kind of give it the other side.
Like I said,
can't think of too many of them, but there might be a few of them out there.
Mike is the good cop. I'm the bad cop.
He'll think of all the
I'll
cons.
think of all the cons. Okay, I'm the bad cop.
Because he is a con.
Yeah. Don't put that out there.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. We'll see you again next time.
Thank you. Peace. Chicken grease.